Viewers of my channel know how I feel about aiming systems, and many of you have left great feedback on my How to Aim video. Today I want to talk about when to aim. Many players aim during their warm-up strokes and are quick to shoot when they think they have it right. Take a look at this miss. Why did I miss this shot? My aim was not wrong, but the execution of my aim was poor. Aiming has both physical and mental components. Aiming is not a singular event. It's part of the larger shot-making process. Let's dive in. Hello, my name is Bob. Welcome to a short stop on pool. What is aiming? Most think aiming is only figuring out the contact point that will pocket the object ball. But what are you doing when you aim? You are aligning your stance, vision center, and cue stick to the aim point. Why are you aiming? To make the object ball and cue ball go where I want them to. What are you thinking about when you aim? Is my cue stick pointed correctly? Will my cue tip strike the cue ball in the right place? How hard will I hit the shot? Etc. Like most things, pool involves a mental-physical dichotomy. The mental and physical are interrelated and support each other during the aiming and shot-making process. The physical, involving your shot entry, stance, and cue delivery, is beyond the scope of this video, though I will mention it out of necessity. Imagine an AI computer calculating the aim point for you. Does that mean you will never miss? No, of course not. You still have to make the cue ball go there. Most of aiming is mental. It goes on in your mind. The mental part of aiming involves what you see, what you want, and what you do. Wait a minute, why aren't skills part of the physical? Well, they are physical, but regarding aiming, your skills are what you have practiced so you execute them subconsciously, but they are supported by the mental part of aiming during shot execution, as we will see. So what is aiming? Aiming is what goes on in your mind as you acquire, set up, decide, and execute the shot. Many pool players acquire the aim point during their warm-up strokes, like this, while the best players acquire the aim point while standing up. Aiming does not stop here, but this is the initial acquisition of the aim point. Why is this important? Because while pool is close to a two-dimensional game, our brains process spatial information in 3 dimensions, which helps to align your stance. Seeing the shot line and the aim line from a standing position, along with the relative size and relationship of the balls while down on the shot, builds up a more precise thought picture of the shot, which helps to create your sight picture. The sight picture is what you see after addressing the cue ball and before you begin your warm-up strokes. Your cue tip is addressing the correct point on the cue ball. Your cue stick is aligned through the cue ball to the aim point at the object ball. Watch any pro pool player and you will see them spending more time with aim point acquisition than you noticed before. Researchers have estimated that your brain can process about 126 bits of information per second. So, not only does looking at the balls from multiple angles give you a more complete picture, it also gives your brain the necessary few seconds it needs to process that information. The conclusion of my Efren's elbow video talked about intent. Decision-making is how you establish your intent, a critical part of aiming. Watch me miss this shot during a game of straight pool. I could have played position for 3 different balls, but did not decide which one I wanted or how to get there. Making a specific plan for the cue ball removes doubt and informs your thought picture about where you intend to strike the cue ball. Upon making these decisions, visualize the shot. Have you ever missed a shot like this? Then set it back up and made it the second time? Visualization means you get to shoot every shot twice. First in your mind, and then you shoot the real shot the second time, the one you never miss. Often this type of miss is caused by a failure to decide your specific intent. Before this miss, I only decided that center table would be good enough for my cue ball. But if I wanted to play position for ball number 1, I would want to come pretty tight out of this corner to get a good angle on that ball. If I wanted position on ball number 2, I would want to come a little bit less tight to make sure I have an angle on this ball to open up this cluster. And if I wanted to play position on ball number 3, I would want to come closer to the side rail to keep my ball over here to have an angle to open up this cluster. So for shot number 3, for example, after acquiring the aim point and while still standing upright over the shot, I would visualize the cue ball striking the aim point on the 3 ball, the 3 ball entering cleanly into the pocket, and the cue ball traveling on the exact path that I've chosen. Visualizing the shot before getting down to shoot also informs your conscious and subconscious mind that you are clear about what you want and you intend for it to happen now. Clear decisions establish your intent, prevent rushing into the shot, and provide feedback for evaluating the shot results. As such, they are an integral part of the aiming process. Upon aim point acquisition and decision making, you should be standing upright squarely behind the shot. As mentioned, shot alignment is physical and beyond the scope of this video, but your alignment happens during your shot entry. It's the alignment of your stance, your vision center, and your cue stick to the aim point. I hope you can see why it's so important to aim before entering your stance. The execution phase is largely physical. Here I'm mentioning only the mental aiming aspects of shot execution. Your aim is checked 3 times while down on the shot. I call these set, rehearse, and pause. Set begins when your bridge hand touches the cloth and continues as your head is lowered to position. Do not begin your warm-up strokes until you are sure you're aligned. The rehearse phase is your warm-up strokes. As I mentioned earlier, your warm-up strokes are not to aim the shot. They are for gauging the speed of shot and your eye patterns as you check Q-tip position and Q-stick alignment. The pause phase begins when you are ready to shoot. Your Q-tip stops at cue ball address and your eyes return to the object ball aim point and stay there. This is when your final lock onto the aim point happens. During practice, I like to think of the focus lock lever on a DSLR camera. You've acquired and aligned to the aim point. Now you lock on for a few seconds before shooting. Science supports the efficacy of the 2 stillness phases, set and pause. I talked about your foveal vision in my vision center video. Your fovea, the center of your vision, is used for far aiming tasks and has high visual acuity compared to your peripheral vision. A scientific study of billiard players showed that amateurs pause for 1 second or less, while higher skilled players pause from 2 to 3 seconds. This pause in sports is called the quiet eye. Experiments showed that players of all skill levels make a higher percentage of shots with a quiet eye, allowing more time to focus lock on your aim point. Most players pause before drawing their cue back, but some pause at the back of the backstroke. But the final pause and focus lock is critical to shot success. The casual player moves quickly from shot to shot, aiming only during their warm-up strokes, while the knowledgeable player makes proper aiming a habit as they acquire, decide, set up, and execute. A few more aiming tips before I go. If it doesn't feel right at address, don't try to fix it. Stand up and start over. The mental aiming components of your shot routine should be rehearsed to become a habit, the same as the physical components. When watching the pros play, ignore the balls for one match and watch the player's eyes. You will be amazed at what you can learn about how and when they aim.